Ready? Action!
Hello everyone, my name is Melina. My hometown is Moscow. In this team I'm responsible for character designs, from first concepting to the final game-ready assets. As I remember, my parents were quite happy that I changed my career path a little bit as an adult. Yeah, but probably because they are not artists or gamers, they can fully understand what I'm doing, and perhaps that's why they usually like everything what I do. As for my friends, mostly they're also far from gaming, and they have artistic experience, artistic graduation, as well as I do. That's why, despite they have less interest in gaming, I feel like I can always turn to them and ask some professional advice in terms of aesthetics. If I speak honestly about the very first game in my adult ages, it's definitely the third Witcher. It was 2017 when I first played it, and it was after a really long pause in gaming because I had really tough studies in artistic art lyceum and art institute, so I couldn't make time for gaming, and then I went back to gaming and I was shocked how the industry has changed, and which has stunned me, and it still amazes me with narrative and everything. And also it was after I had health issues and I had surgery, so I always felt exhausted, and while doing my recovery I started playing The Witcher, and I was in France with my parents in South France, and they were angry because I was ignoring the sea and the beach, because Witcher interested me much more than that. Well, my best decision last month was start taking antidepressants, because I wasted so much time because of sleeping issues, strong anxiety and some mental breakdowns, because sometimes I'm lazy but not as much and now I feel much more balanced and probably even sober. Yeah, and I've always been motivated, even back in the day when I wasn't taking anything, but now I have more time, I work more efficiently, even more rapidly. Yeah, the only thing is that I had to push aside my personal projects in favor of this project. But now I even feel that I can catch up with all my plans that I did before. Oh my god, it's too personal. Well, in my case, I speak mostly about character design. So I wanted to use cyberpunk elements as some aspect that forces people and inhabitants to create their own tales and myths. Because mostly I was inspired by Kaidan. Kaidan means oral tales about supernatural. So in our case, this remnant of technological revolution, they call this local Kaidans. And I wanted to keep this feeling of authentic folklore Kaidan thing. So the cyberpunk elements were inserted really carefully without overdoing, because I didn't want them to be too much. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, I can briefly explain how I came up with the boss, because I had several variations for each character. Yeah, but somehow we decided to choose this variation of the boss. Firstly, I was inspired by a famous folklore character called Shutendoji. He is a half human, half demon. He lives in a mountain and steals young women, and he is a drunkard. So I wanted the boss to look like somehow similar to him. Yeah, and I didn't really like how cyberpunk elements worked with AI, so I just went further to fantasy stuff, and I wanted to replace his hair with needles because I was inspired by Witcher again, because I like the books of Sapkowski, and it reminded me of Yosh as the character who was like a hedgehog. Yeah, and so I wanted to do the same with the boss. But I was busy, and I asked my boyfriend to write a prompt, like replace his hair with the needles. But I asked it in Russian, and in Russian, like it sounds similar to eagles. That's how eagles from his head appeared, and then I just turned these eagles to mechanical ones, and like made them protruding from his head and merged with the entire body. And that's it. Well, my workflow is pretty regular, like as it's usually done. Despite this time, I wanted to implement AI tools and like look how it will turn out. So for first concepting, to make it quick and rough, I used Sora AI for the first time. Yeah, and worked surprisingly good, like better than many others, so it's highly recommended. And I did several variations for each of the characters, because my task is to make main character, NPC, and boss. And when we decided each variations suit us perfectly, I manually drew each of the characters in Photoshop. Like first I drew it manually in my notebook, and then I scanned, and then I continue working in Photoshop. So I drew the characters in T-pose from front and back view. Then my next step was also new software for me. I tried Marvelous Designer because trying to sculpt all the drapes is a pain in the ass, and like, I don't recommend doing that. So I tried Marvelous Designer. It's a software usually used by fashion designers. It's really convenient. You use swing patterns, and then you combine them together as polygons, and voila, you have like 3D clothing part. And after that I exported them one after another to ZBrush and did the following changes. And yeah, usually I use like many tools from ZBrush and deformers and noises and like everything to customize it, and I draw with tablet a lot. Yeah, after you're done with high poly, you do low poly. I prefer doing it in Maya. I do UV unwrapping in Maya as well. If I need quickly model anything, I prefer 3ds Max. I don't know why. Like I can do both of them. Yeah, and after you prepared your character in Maya, you export it to Substance Painter. And then I do regular PBR texturing and implement everything in Unreal. Sometimes I have some issues while exporting textures in Unreal. And now I'm learning how to set up shaders for the perfect look. Yeah, I think we're done.